Android users, you can now have TYT in the palm of your hand. Our TYT app is available for download in the Google Play Store. Just go to tyt.com/app to find out more.
The Pentagon has released a report indicating that there's some concern that the US could engage in war with China. Now, the Pentagon has expressed concern that China's military is probably training to strike the United States and its allies. So that's something to be a little concerned about. As we know, there's an ongoing trade war with China. Trump has been antagonizing China since before he even got elected. But there's also the issue of Taiwan, which we will get to in just a second. But according to the report, over the last 3 years, the PLA, also known as China's People's Liberation Army, has rapidly expanded its overwater bomber operating areas, gaining experience in critical maritime regions and likely training for strikes against the US and allied targets. So again, this is an annual report that the Pentagon puts out. It seems a little hyperbolic to me, I'm gonna be honest with you guys, but in the Trump era, anything's possible, and this should concern us. The PLA may continue to extend its operations beyond the first island chain, demonstrating the capability of US to strike the US and allied forces and military bases in the Western Pacific Ocean, including Guam. So again, relations with the United States and China have deteriorated as of late. In fact, according to the report, these relations have been tested, and the cracks started to show in May when the Pentagon withdrew an invitation for China to participate in multinational naval exercises.
Okay, I'm gonna clarify what's important, not important here, what's real, what's not real. So don't worry, I got this. But before that, I like to make really serious stories like World War silly. There's a bunch of cool things in this, cool names in this story. Now I'm gonna get a lot of trouble. The right wing get ready to clip this out of context. China's People's Liberation Army sounds kind of cool. Like any liberation army sounds kind of cool to me. Now, their actions were not that cool. I just want to be super, super clear about that. But remember, it was like when George H.W. Bush declared the liberation of Kuwait has begun. Now, back then I was a Republican and I enjoyed that kind of talk. Kind of tough guy talk I like. All right, we're moving on. Later, I'm gonna get to corvettes and frigates, which are also super cool. Now, on to serious stuff.
He's literally gonna be here all night.
That's right, okay. All right, so are we going to war with China? Very, very unlikely. But there's a huge but here, okay? China is not making noises to go attack America. That's insanity, that's not gonna happen, right? But what could happen, which could lead to either a Xiao war or a gigantic war, is they just go take Taiwan. They just grab it.
Seems like they're thinking about doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I want to give you one other little piece of information. This was the only thing that really concerned me, worried me in this report. So they're also testing a certain weapon that would be disastrous, okay? So China's testing something known as a hypersonic missile that could be developed to carry a nuclear warhead that can evade all current US detecting systems and also travel up to 6 times the speed of sound.
That made me feel better because that sounded like typical Pentagon overstating, give me bigger budget, right? They're coming in hypersonic. We're not gonna be able to detect our missiles. I need to, spend at least 4 times as much on defense contractors.
Well, we have been.
I know.
Yeah. They already got what they wanted, though. That's the point. They already got what they wanted with the spending. But okay.
And they also talk about how China's developing their military space capabilities. So balance out the hype here, which is, oh my God, the Chinese are coming, we got to spend more on defense. We already do, we already spend more than 3 times what they spend on defense, then they spend a lot. They spent $190 billion last year, and we're at over $700 billion that we spend. Okay, now let's talk about the only thing that I think is real, which is, could they take Taiwan? They could, in a matter of hours. And so when I was in Taiwan, I talked to someone that was in the Taiwanese military, because I have a lot of deeply connected sources. No, it's just some random dude who was in the military. They all have to be in the military, okay? But this was super interesting. They say that all of their training centered around 8 hours. Why 8 hours? Because that's how long they have to last before America comes. That is what the Taiwanese military trains for. But now, what if America doesn't come?
That sounds like a really bad preparation tactic. Like, let's do better.
Well, they have no chance.
Yeah.
So that leads me to the frigates. So there's a breakdown here of the military of China versus Taiwan. Aircraft carriers, China has one, Taiwan does not. Frigates, hey, Taiwan's got 22. China has 51. Corvettes, China has 28. Taiwan has 0, which is weird because I can get you 28 Corvettes. Probably a different Corvette. Medium landing ships, China has 23. Taiwan has 0. They don't even have medium landing ships, let alone big ones. And here's the one that I thought was perhaps determinative. Nuclear attack submarines. Taiwan 0, China 5. Okay, this thing's over in under 8 hours, okay? Now they're not gonna launch nukes on Taiwan, that would be counterproductive. But they can go and take that island. The question is, and everybody knows it, Taiwan knows it. In fact, Taiwan's former leader said that Beijing should stop threatening Taiwan, this is their ex-premier, because it's not strong enough to fight the United States. Even their former leader's like, no, it ain't about us. The US is gonna fight it for us. Now, any US president would fight that fight because we have a deal with Taiwan and we honor our deals. Except we have a president who famously does not honor deals. He doesn't honor deals in his personal life, and he has said about how he might not honor deals with our allies, whether it's NATO or anyone else. Are you sure that if Taiwan says they're coming, we only have 8 hours left, that Trump says, well, I mean, what did they do for us? Did they pay their bills? What did they do? Do they owe us $2.50? I don't know if I wanna go, right?
Right. Well, sorry, just let me quickly preface this by saying that Trump is likely or unlikely to do anything. Like
Exactly,
you can never predict him. But I feel like if he views China as his enemy, then he will view Taiwan as his friend. Right, so who knows? I think it really depends on.
But on the other hand, he has a crooked deal with China on ZTE.
Yeah, it's true. I don't know. Look, my point is, you shouldn't rely on Trump ever.
So my point is, it's based in money. So how can this be beneficial monetarily if you're going to engage with China over potentially taking over and just snatching Taiwan? How does that work out? So we can demonize North Korea, we can demonize Iran, Iraq, anybody we need to make some money off of. So if we're gonna fight a war, it has to be beneficial monetarily to us. That's the key that has to happen before this can even go down, which I don't see yet. So that's the part of it that may be hard to sell to people. They go like, well, remember those scary Chinese? We're only scared of the Chinese financially. They're gonna be bigger than us? Are they gonna be deemed in the world as stronger than us and creating more things than us so we have our egos bruised? Or are we actually afraid of that kind of Asian person? Or are we afraid of the other kind that we just made best friends with? Because now they're not scared because now he's Donald Trump's buddy.
Yeah, let me just say that's a really great book, because think about it psychologically. You go to the MAGA guys and you say Iran has taken something or attacked us or attacked an ally. Well, we're going to war immediately, right? Scary Muslims. China's taken something, right? We're having a conversation and that conversation ends in 8 hours. So,
well, first of all, the 8 hours thing is funny to me. It sounds like a Chuck Norris movie of some sort. Like, you know, it's like the beginning, it happens, and the clock's ticking, and Chuck's got to come, and we have 8 hours. Just hide in the bunker. So, this is off the bat. That's what I thought of. Secondly, I would say that I agree with what Anna was saying at the beginning, which is it does seem like the Pentagon just wants more money as well, and all that stuff of like they're coming at the speed of sound. They got an Iron Man coming at us, you know, whatever that is. And it's like the police department saying we need more guns, so just use that money, right? So you got to be a little bit skeptical of the Pentagon. That said, the problem with the era we're living in right now with Trump is when you hear things like this, and what you guys were just saying, he's so mercurial with who's he going to support, what's he going to support, to the point where I keep pointing this out. When that thing happened in Hawaii, where they thought that North Korea was launching missiles at Hawaii, people in Hawaii actually believe that. And the underlying reason is because Trump is president.
Yes.
If Trump had not been president, you heard that, you go, oh, that's just a false alarm. Whether it was under Obama or Bush or whoever, you go, that's just fun. But we live in an era right now where this could happen because dum-dum does something wrong and pushes the wrong button. You were talking about Iran in the source. So one of the things they say in the article is how China is saying, yo, we're still gonna do business with Iran. Right? And come November, and the oil embargo, we're going to buy oil from Iran. And Trump has said, you're either with us or you're against us. We're going to put oil embargoes on you. So what's not, I mean, this chess game that's being played with our guy in the White House playing checkers, or not even checkers, I don't know, he's flipping a coin. That's what he's doing.
Yeah. And also, I love that you brought up, the whole Iran nuclear deal and, the sanctions against Iran, because this conflict with China isn't one thing, right? It's multifaceted. You have the trade war that's currently going on. We have a funny video to show you about that, believe it or not. You have the issue of Taiwan, and then you have the issue of China essentially giving Trump the middle finger and saying, no, we're still going to import oil from Iran. We're not going to listen to you, right? So who knows how Trump is going to act, but there are all these different factors, and any one of them can blow up at any moment, no pun intended. Okay, so with that said, Trump released this random video today, and I think it has everything to do with China and the ongoing trade war with China. He posted this on Twitter, and there was a part of it that I found hilarious, so I just wanted to share it with you. Let's take a look.
Made in America is back. Now, some people would say made in the USA. I personally don't care. The fact is, we're back. We have 400,000 new manufacturing jobs. Our opponents said that could never happen. It has happened, and we're going to develop a lot more in a very short period of time. So, made in the USA, made in America, it's back.
But why? Why the random tangent about some people would also say, what?
He should have ended with, and Merry Christmas. That's back too. Santa's back, he's white, and we're moving on.
Some people didn't believe he was white, but we made him white again.
He can't help it. When he's given something to say, and he's actually not even sure why he was given that to say, he's obviously has to read something. This is a Twitter account, right?
Yeah.
There's no way he's saying, today I'm gonna put out a video talking about made in America or USA, it doesn't matter. Once that is written, he has to think of a insert. He's like, I gotta make it me. I gotta make it my own. So he has to insert something, no matter how meaningless it is.
It's meaningless.
He has to.
It's meaningless to everyone else, but in his head, it's like he thinks he's saying something smart, right? Some people also say "made in America" or "made in the USA." Like we know that people use those interchangeably. Let's move on.
No, you're absolutely right, Anna. This is the guy who thought he invented the word "fake." Not kidding. He said that in an interview. He's like, nobody was saying that before. Now I said fake, and now everybody's saying fake. That existed in the English language. All right, last thing, guys. The thing that is most likely, China attacking us is 0% chance. China taking Taiwan is a small percentage chance, but with Trump, I'm a little worried, right? The thing that's actually going to happen is what Ma said, which is we're going into these trade wars and because China has said definitively that they will trade with Iran, they're gonna get secondary sanctions from America, and those actually do hurt. Now, right now, their economy is booming, even though Trump says, oh, they were very hurt by my tariffs. No, they weren't. Their GDP grew by 6.6%. They're like, well, that's down from 6.9. 6.6 is gigantic. They're growing at a huge rate. So they're growing bigly. So they're totally fine. But when you do secondary sanctions, they are going to strike back again. And we're the ones that are on the hook. Our economy is in much more perilous shape because we have an inflated stock market. That bubble's gonna burst any second. I'm telling you right now, man, that Trump with these tariffs and sanctions is playing with fire. And that's about the economy, and it is gonna blow up on him. Every day he gets closer and closer, and these markets keep gambling and gambling, and at some point, that bubble is gonna burst, and I think that we are really close to it.
You're missing the part about how we gave the richest and also the largest corporations a huge tax break. That's gonna save us.
Yeah. They're creating a ton of jobs and paying people a lot of money with those tax cuts.
I'm not an economist, but I'm just wondering who's in the room with him, because when I heard that, when Gary Cohn stepped down, and then he wrote something about these tariffs and saying these tariffs are not a good idea, and he to me is somebody who's pretty well versed on economics. A lot of people that I've talked to, they go, yes, the Chinese do cheat us in many ways. And there's an argument to be made about the tariffs. But my question becomes, where are we headed? Is Trump just sitting there throwing this stuff out? Is there an advisor there? Is there some economic theory behind it? Because I know personally, I know personally that I swear to God, listen, we're getting ready to possibly do some work on the house, and we were talking to an architect and stuff, and she said, "Oh, the prices of everything's gone up. All the aluminum's gone up. Everything." She goes, "Everything's gonna be more expensive. Buying a dryer, everything's gonna be more expensive." So we are being affected.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So
there is no, Maz, you're hilarious, dude. No wonder you're a comedian. Trump and economic theory in the same sentence. He is incapable of any theory, let alone economic theory. And to your point, earlier there was a battle with Gary Cohn, who was his top economic advisor. In my opinion, bad guy, done a lot of bad things at Goldman Sachs, but incredibly smart, right? And knows the economy, understands it. And Steve Bannon, who was like, me do tariff, me get vote base, right? So now they're both gone, and he's home alone.
Yeah.
And so God knows if he's gonna just throw the paint thing at the intruder or have against his own head. He couldn't find an economic theory if his life depended on it.
This is Home Alone 3. You're right. We are living through Home Alone 3 right now.
2 easy ways to follow the Young Turks. One is hit the subscribe button down below. Then you're a TYT subscriber. And second is ring the bell. And when you do that on YouTube, you're notified of our videos.